report on this computer. And we're ready whenever you are.
Good morning. Scott Page and Christian Daniel here from the Developers Help Desk team, or DHD as we like to talk about it. And really this represents part of our upcoming series of quick-hitting programs to provide tips on how to engage with the DHD and how we can best assist you in your processes. Today, we're going to take about 5 to 7 minutes and talk about starting a design studio project. We have lots of folks contacting us saying, gee, we're hearing a lot about the DHD. We have a custom project idea. What is our next step for getting going? And to kick this off, most of you probably know that traditionally in CU Answers land, we've had 3 or 4 different processes for handling various software projects. Certainly we've had, and those fall pretty much into the categories of, I'll call them enhancing CU-based type projects. Secondly, we've recently announced our off-the-shelf type project services.
More
which
CAN
are
type projects.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
which are normal CAN projects that we've done for many years, fixed pricing strategies, components that we know in working with vendors. Our third development strategy that we've announced as part of DHD, as you may recall, is API development processes. We'll have a lot more POV sessions coming up in the near future talking about those. Those will be a huge part of as we continue to move into 2018. But we're really here to talk about today on starting a true custom project or design studio process and to help you get going. So Christian, if I'm a client or a vendor and I do have a project idea, how do I begin initiating that process? How do you recommend the next step that we go?
Yeah, so one of the first recommendations that I would suggest is come out here to the DHD website, which can be accessible from cuanswers.com or directly from dhd.cuanswers.com. From here, you're going to come under the toolbox and then getting started with a design studio project, where once you click on this, as you said, this is giving you that entire process, what the credit union should expect, the steps that the credit union is going to work through, so on. So here we just have some introductory text that lets you know that there's some variables that come into play, scope, time, and cost, maybe agreements that the credit union needs to sign, like you said, your third objective, API projects, so on. So the first thing for credit unions that you're normally going to figure out is, what type of project am I going to work on? And there's different project categories, as Scott said. First, off the shelf, that could be an existing EFT, ATM debit network setup, maybe an existing online credit card conversion, an existing vendor that CU Answers has worked with for loan insurance or file posting. So those are going to be all existing vendors that CU Answers has worked with.
And I believe, Christian, this is where folks could go right to our new online store to be able to begin the process with you for ordering any of these
Absolutely. They would just
projects.
choose this second option here for shop to the right of toolbox.
Excellent.
Now, maybe they don't see a product, vendor, etc. that they're interested out there. That would then push them more over into the design studio services in the design studio process that you're talking about.
So this would be a true custom project development strategy.
That is correct. Yep. Maybe a data warehouse we haven't worked with yet, or a vendor that we haven't worked with yet. And you can see some examples, maybe a check image vendor or a new ACH vendor, check orders, etc. Maybe there are other projects such as a plastic card vendor, create a new report, data floods that are available, etc. This is a true custom project, as you said, something that isn't available to the CU Answers network as of now.
All right, so I've determined I do have a custom project idea. Now I'm ready to call somebody or begin the process for at least taking that next step. So take us through the template here. What would I do next?
Yeah, so your first step is either going to contact client services, which I know a lot of our existing clients are definitely used to, reaching out to client services, maybe starting an answer book item. Also, now you can contact the DHD, which is contacting either me or Scott direct, coming out here to the website, filling out a contact form, so on. Different ways to contact us, different ways to start that design studio project request. Also out here, we have an example of what that special project request form is going to look like. So kind of get the ideas going on the credit union side on what's needed on the CU Answers side to actually get this project going through their internal process.
So when they use that form, so if a client were to get in touch with us first, talk about the project idea, we know collaboration has huge value, just to kind of talk it through sometimes. Does it make sense? You know, what are some of your higher level objectives and goals in thinking about this idea? So the form that you're showing itself would, where they begin putting their thoughts down to paper so that we can take a look at something within our team. Is that correct?
That is correct,
okay.
Yep. So we can help vet that idea, maybe bring in the right experts that we need on our side, so on.
Terrific. Okay.
Next, after your credit union has started that project, your authorization or special project is then presented to our project team. And we review that at a weekly meeting. And on this initial review, that will maybe say if you need follow-up spec sessions, do we need additional information, maybe from the credit union or the vendor? Or maybe at this point, we're going to work into steps 3, which is going to be assigning a project research or design quote. Maybe it's a very in-depth project and we need to look into this further. With that, it's going to be assigned an initial research or design fee.
So when folks hear about a research design fee, that may be something new that CU-based clients aren't familiar with, Christian. So the whole idea of the research design fee, again, since we're talking about true custom project development, sometimes those processes simply require us to go to work and do some initial research as based upon a client's idea. So that's kind of what this is all about.
Definitely,
correct?
And that could be items that we need to research with CU base. Maybe it's within a vendor, a third-party vendor that we haven't worked with yet, so on. So in those examples, most likely a research and design fee.
So it's really designed to help pre-qualify the idea even further with a client.
Absolutely.
before they and or us may move into a project development stage. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
okay,
yep.
Great. And I see you have some costs on here. What do those represent?
So if we believe it's a small research design effort, that's going to be assigned a fee of $1,000.
Okay.
We find it a medium research and design effort, estimated about 25 hours, $2,500 research and design fee. And if we find that to be a larger research and design effort, estimated 40 hours, it's most likely going to be a $4,000 research and design fee.
All right, so these types of fees typically aren't $10,000, $20,000 R&D type of fees. If a client approves a research design fee, is that amount included then in the project if they elect to move forward with it?
If they elect to move forward, that amount will be assigned to that project.
So it's included as part of the project development.
That is correct.
Got it. Excellent. Okay.
Now, after the credit union approves that research and design fee, we then work forward into all of our research, as I said, with the vendor, etc. Once we get done with that research, we then move over into the design studio quote. So here, create, deliver a design studio quote. That's what CU Answers is doing during that research and design phase. As I said, working through third-party vendors, maybe project experts here internally at CU Answers, so on. Once that's done, we then determine a project cost. It's going to include hours of programming, as well as QC that's going to be incorporated within there, or quality control. And then we create and deliver that design studio project quote out to the credit union. With those, we deliver them, we expect, within 10 to 15 days. And with that, your design studio project quote is going to be valid for 30 days. However, we here at CU Answers will work with you if you do need any extensions, maybe working with a vendor, so on. Definitely something we
know certainly on certain occasions, extenuating circumstances, if we're waiting for certain details from a third-party vendor, or whatever the case may be, there can be some considerations that way for how we assist.
Absolutely, definitely.
Got it. Okay.
So once a credit union approves of that design studio project quote, that works us into number 6 here. Once they approve that quote, we then work that into our development, basically, schedule. Would you say at that point, Scott?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. So once the client sends the form back that they approve it, our team of technical experts on the DHD side then go to work as far as scheduling the project, looking at the resource, some strategies that way. So I think that's absolutely correct.
And we also have some individuals on that basically development side that are going to be working with the credit unions, working with the vendors, giving them timelines, updates as the project goes on. Definitely. Now, once we work into number 7 and moving on from there, that kind of then dovetails into our SDLC, or our software development lifecycle, such as working with a third-party vendor, tracking your project, maybe via monitor. As I said, we'll provide project updates and notifications from the other side of the development. So that's after the credit union has signed the design studio project quote. Number 10, that works into our quality control and testing, making sure that everything's working with your third-party vendor, if applicable, working with CU Base, etc. So as I said, this is working through all of our existing SDLC, or software development lifecycle. Does any end user documentation required? And then 12 is going to be your implementation. That could be on the CU Answer side, working through a CU Base release, or that could be on the credit union side, maybe approving items with your vendor, etc.
So in a nutshell, to get started on a design studio project, Christian, the first thing that a client and or vendor would likely want to do is simply reach out and contact the DHD and talk with us about your project idea. If you prefer to send something in electronically, Christian, if we go to I want to, up at the top, we'll take them one last, talk to someone about my idea. This is what I'm talking about, and Christian is as well. Simply give us a call to contact. But if you are a person who would instead rather send something in, if Christian scrolls down here a little bit, there you go. An electronic idea form that we've developed. This is different from your CU Base idea form that you may be familiar with for many years previously. This is just to collaborate with us on your project idea, and for us then to be able to reach out back to you to be able to talk more about your project. And then from there, we take it and work directly with the client as far as, hey, understanding your idea, creating an authorization form, getting you potentially an initial R&D bid back your way, then taking it to the actual project bid side if that's the strategy for which you elect to do at that time. That's about it. Yep. Contact us, send us an electronic idea form in. We'll get engaged in working with the client from that point forward.
Yep. Sounds awesome. So we appreciate everyone's time today. As always, if you do have any further questions, please feel free to reach out. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.